Okay, so welcome to this week's Health Talk 365 with Dr. Joseph Ahrens, dual-nominated Nobel Prize scientist, and he comes with years of experience and a wealth of knowledge. And the benefits of having this gentleman on board is that it's not product-driven. It is his experiences, and he's not aiming to cure, heal, or mitigate anything here. It's just his opinion. And hopefully you're able to gather some tips and some insight on today's topic, which is about detoxing, cleansing, and resetting our bodies. His opinion on ways of doing that. And then I believe we're going to briefly talk about a few products that may assist you as well. So firstly, how are you, Dr. Ahrens?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here every Thursday. My Thursday, it's probably your Friday, but I'm glad to be here. I enjoy communicating with the people, and my main focus is to get some truth out, because in every area of health there are so-called experts, and you just don't know who you can depend on. And I want people to come here and say, okay, let's find out what's going on, and they can come here and I'll tell you the truth, at least as I see it, and try to stay neutral and just give you the upside and the downside.
Excellent. So as we hand it over to you, Dr. Ahrens, so for people that are out there, we are going to be talking about detoxing, cleansing, and resetting the body in ways of where you see that it can be beneficial. And if anybody's got any questions that they want to ask, we'll look at taking 2 or 3 at the tail end of the call. So please put it into the chat. But otherwise, I'll hand it over to you, Dr. Ahrens.
Okay. So first of all, do you like this shirt? Does it look good?
Well, I can't see much of it, but I know it's a...
What kind of shirt?
It's a hoodie. Oh, you've got hair.
Well, this is a fishing shirt. So I went out fishing today, and it's just now sunset here, and went out fishing. It's really great to be outside, and I like that salt water, but I know a lot of people don't get the chance to do that, but I do it every chance they can. And speaking about things like fresh, ocean, nature.
Is it just me, or did we lose him?
Looked like you lost him, Jack.
Okay, so as we're still recording,
am I back?
Oh, he's back.
Am I back?
You are, yes.
Yeah, I don't know why. Just let me know when that happens, because it might be a little unstable tonight. So I want to talk about cleansing your guts and detoxing your whole body. And, for a long time, that was thought to be just kind of weird science. Nobody believed it. I mean, we're talking about, since the 50s, most authorities said this is a bunch of nonsense. But as like many of these traditional medicines and old home cures, if they've been around a few thousand years, we need to pay attention to them. And now science has finally caught up to that. And we find out, yes, it does good for your body to detoxification, which means to get rid of the poisons that are in your body. Talk about where they came from in a moment. And cleansing, which is, you need a wash out every now and then. And so a lot of people, even naturalists, said, why would we need to do that? The body is a perfect machine, takes care of itself. That's true. But I have said very often, our main problem is we do not have a good diet. All the products that I have recommended here on this site, and even my own products that I have designed, they're not something outrageous that is unnatural. They're actually trying to get you back to a normal and natural diet. So I'll say that right off. If we moved as much as we should, had the right amount of exercise, had the right amount of vitamin D and sunshine, and had the correct diet, we wouldn't need anything. I really believe that. Even when diseases came into our life, we would fight them. Our body could fight them. Well, we made some progress, a few hundred years ago. We got into modern society. We got into modern agriculture. And we absolutely did start to feed the world. A lot less people that were food insecure now had food to eat, and that actually is getting better every day. But with that comes a little step away from what nature intended, and our diets today are just really horrible. I think most everyone talks about the so-called horrible Western diet and the really good Mediterranean diet. And then next month or next year, you'll hear about another better diet and another worse diet. What's going on here? Well, it's actually getting back to when we were hunter-gatherers and we ate the meals, the diets. We ate them at the right time. We ate the right amounts. We had the right activity. We had the right sleep. We had the right diet. Then we had to change that. One of the things we had to do is fit into this 24-hour work cycle. It used to be 16 hours work and then a little bit of sleep. And then it now got to 12 hours work and 12 hours off. And right now in most of the world, it's 6 to 8 hours of work and 6 hours, 8 hours of family time and then sleep. We cut it into thirds. That's not necessarily natural for your body, but we force ourselves into that. And then we have unnatural light. We have light pollution. We really were made to go to bed when the sun went down and then sleep for several hours and then maybe get up in the middle of the night and stretch or whatever, and then go back for some more sleep. We've talked about that. And when we talked about sleep, we get up and we eat the right amount of food. Not something that we did just out of habit, but we ate the correct food. Then we went out and we moved, stretched, lifted heavy things every now and then, ran away from tigers on occasion. We just don't do that anymore. We're fit into this hard cycle. And part of that hard cycle is our diet. And even though we know how much of macrochemicals that we need, that means fats, proteins, carbohydrates. And we know about all the micronutrients, that's all the vitamins and minerals that you hear about, including the flavonoids. We don't really yet understand what are the correct ratios or not. We still don't know that in this day and age because we cannot really experiment on people. You can't do that. You can't put a group of people in one room and deny them a certain element and then put another group in another room and deny them or give them twice another element. You can't do that morally. I mean, it's just, we stopped doing that a long time ago. So it's very difficult to figure out the human diet. And then you put in all the other parameters that are we can't control, like where do you live? You live near the North Pole, you live near the equator, the South Pole, you different amounts of level of light. It's very complicated. But I still maintain that if we did know the right amounts of all those things, activity and sleep, and if we did know the exact amount of macronutrients, the micronutrients, the exact amount of flavonoids, man, we'd be down. We wouldn't go to the doctor, any health person, 1% of the time. We wouldn't have any COVID issues. We would not have a lot of the mental issues that we're dealing with. We wouldn't have Alzheimer's. We wouldn't have any of these things. That's my belief. I can't prove those completely every single one, but the research that I have done throughout my life point towards that. And so in my lifetime, we'll never solve that stuff, but it's just like Alzheimer's. In 2007, my partner and I discovered the link between diabetes and Alzheimer's. And it wasn't that one caused the other. We actually said, wow, Alzheimer's is actually dysfunctional carbohydrate metabolism in the brain. 2007. We worked together for a little while. We actually got a patent in 2010 on some flavonoids that we could use to combat that, to try to get the brain back on track. And people laughed at us and, okay, Any one of you right now, just Google type 3 diabetes. And what it comes up with is Alzheimer's. So, okay, I think we know where we're going here. So I'm on the right track. Okay, now getting back to what I said is, why do we need this cleansing? And why do we need this reset? Why do we need this detoxification? Because we're not on that original scheme. That is the reason. We don't eat what we should. Even if you begin with, you don't even know what we should be eating. I don't know what you should be eating. I can guesstimate it, but we can't know exactly. And if you were eating correctly, you wouldn't need a detox and you wouldn't need to clean yourself out now and then. So any machine going forward, I don't care if it's your body or if it's a car with a gas-driven engine, or if it's even an electric car with batteries, any machine, any process, any chemical process, as it goes forward, it produces side chemicals that are byproducts of the main reaction. It cannot help but do that. There is no perfectly clean reaction in nature. Yes, maybe in a confined cell that is pure, and you put in hydrogen and you put in oxygen, put a spark, boom, you come up with pure water. That's not life. In life, you have a lot of other things. You're living here, you've got nitrogen and not carbon and many chemicals, and your body is digesting those, doing a good job. And then you've got all those microorganisms inside you, and they're living on what you feed them. They turn around and break that down. They use that stuff. And then they also give you some increased things like certain vitamins and energy. It's a great system. But in that process, eventually, especially because we do not know what we really should eat, we get a buildup of chemicals in our body and in our digestive system. So we get them in two places. We get them in every cell. Every cell of our body has these side reactions going on, and they are slowly accumulating molecules that should be flushed out of the body, but they end up being trapped there. That's throughout your body. A lot of these things are toxins. Toxin basically means a poison to your system. Some of them are not toxins, but just because they build up, they get in the way and they keep your body from performing how it should. So that's why you have a buildup of toxin in every cell of your body. Then inside your colon, you also have a buildup of product. And people don't like to talk about colons and your guts. And it's just another organ, just like your heart and your brain, your lungs. It's a colon. And it processes, it's not just developing waste product. It's actually where most of your life happens, all the way down to the large intestine and the colon. It has to be healthy, but it builds up byproducts, and they actually don't just are in the waste stream. They get lodged inside the folds of the skin. They also end up being part of the inner epithelium layer of your intestines. And so as you're living your normal life and eating the best diet you can, you cannot help but have an increase in toxins in every cell in your body, and also a buildup of toxins in your colon. Some of these toxins really are toxic. Some of them are benign. They're not really a big deal. They only just get in the way of normal processes. Let's go back then to a few thousand years ago. We had a better diet. The diet that we ate, from everything we can see right now, cleaned your body automatically. You would eat what you thought was normal food. You actually ate some grasses. You didn't know what you were doing. You said, okay, that looks good to eat. You chew that weed and you eat that little fruit, and your body was always getting rid of toxins, and it was always cleansing itself. Okay, let's fast forward to here. So when's the last time any of you people ate ginkgo biloba? No, you only did it unless you're taking it as a supplement. But back those hundreds of years ago, that was a normal part of our diet. And we would go through life and we would eat these things that just appealed to us for one reason or another. And the body has a remarkable ability to tell you what you need. And we would eat these different things and we would end up cleaning ourselves out every now and then. And also we would detoxify ourselves. And we are lacking that. You know, I just mentioned we knew what to do. Hey, everybody's got these funny stories about pregnant women, about what they eat. You know, they want pickles on top of ice cream. And, you know, I've had 5 kids and I had to go to the store at 2 in the morning to try to find some peanut buttered caviar or something. But now we know, when we start studying what is it about peanut butter flavored ice cream, there's vitamins and nutrients in there that the woman knew her body needed. I'm serious here. All these crazy cravings, they're actually the body's telling you, hey, I need this stuff. I know it's going to be good for me. I need that because of my hormone imbalance or what I need. And also another thing, kids, why do they crave sweets so much? Man, because they are energy sponges. They need them. They need to have a lot of high energy and sugar at certain times of their life. Our body knows what they need. Have you ever tried to feed a hungry teenager? And you can't keep your refrigerator full with all kinds of meats and eggs or chips. I mean, they're growing. They're not doing that just because it's fun. Their body is telling them, you need to eat this protein, you need to eat this fat. And you know, your body is not politically correct. And they're incorrect. Your body demands what it needs. And so, like a pregnant woman, she wants pickled flavored ice cream. Her body is looking for certain flavonoids and proteins, and she's trying to identify that. The teenager is going after what they need. Well, when we were back in those days before industrialized age, our bodies knew what they needed, and they went out and ate it. And it might be taking a bite out of a leaf of ginkgo or whatever, and you would naturally cleanse yourself. Okay, so that's the history about it. Why do we need to cleanse, and why do we need to get rid of toxins? Because we have a process with today's diet and our activity that we have a buildup of toxins in our cells, and we have a buildup of toxins actually in our digestive system. And we need to get rid of them every now and then. Since we're not doing an on-day, every single day process at low levels, we need to every now and then take control of yourself. Even like a car, every now and then you got to clean out the fuel injectors. Doesn't that make sense to people? A car is optimally put together to get the best mileage and have the most power at the cheapest cost. They are so efficient, especially compared to when I was a teenager. We got like 2 or 3 miles to the gallon and nothing but smoke in the air. Now, no, they are extremely very efficient. But even they need an annual maintenance of get rid of the toxins that have built up in their fuel systems. And batteries need to be conditioned, reconditioned, and get rid of those extra chemicals from hydrogen sulfide, et cetera, that have built up in those batteries and be refreshed. Our bodies need the same thing. So that's really what we're talking about. I've told you now why it happens, and I've told you about what we need to do about it. And now the third step is, okay, what are we going to do about it? So I do suggest, since you're not going to find all these crazy plants and fruits that your ancestors did, you need to take an action to add to your diet every now and then. And then go back to, if you had a perfect diet, you wouldn't need to do it, but I challenge you, nobody can have a perfect diet. You look at all these diets. You know, I do the raw diet. I do the ice diet. I do the South Beach diet. No, all of them are wrong. Because you, first of all, cannot get a hold of the products that we actually grew up with as human beings and developed over these years. We don't have those available anymore. You just can't find them. Even the so-called generational heirloom plants, they're not heirloom. They're only a couple hundred years old. So you need to take a step, again, back to science of how to do that. And you also don't go crazy. You can get some products on the market, Dr. Clean Out Incorporated or whatever. You take that, you might as well just drink carburetor cleaner. That stuff will clean you out and you'll be in extremely bad health because you're not supposed to clean yourself out every week. People come to me and say, well, how often do I do this? I've been doing.
Frozen again.
We've lost you, Dr. Ahrens. You'll need to unmute yourself.
Okay, so I'm back. So, a lady came to me and said, well, I'm detoxing twice a day. And no. Should be very seldom. And I tell you, any company that tells you, well, take this product twice a day for, 6 months, walk away from them. You need to detox yourself. I would say maybe maximum 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, and once a month, maybe. And likewise, you need to cleanse your intestines, cleanse your colon. And we have, there's a couple of really good products that I don't usually recommend products, but I'm very tightly associated with Valentis, and I would not be if I didn't think they had good products. And there's a couple of products they really do have very good. First of all, they got Emulant. That's pretty good. They must have some idea of what's right or wrong. And this enzyme product from the Loomers, that it's phenomenal. Why? And it's also very natural because we're missing a lot in our diets. And what we do eat a lot of times will not break down properly. And this product really helps you to reset your body. That's really what I'm asking you to do. Like every month, reset your body. It doesn't have to be a long process, just a couple of days. You need to cleanse yourself. Don't take a product that's so strong that you end up having diarrhea for 2 weeks. I'm not talking about that. Just gradually and slowly flush your system out once a month, every 6 weeks, gently. And there are gentle products for that. And number 2, detox, very similar. You need to get rid of all these things, from heavy metals to acetic acid that's not dangerous normally, but it can build up in your body and change your body pH chemistry. Your body's always fighting. You've heard me talk about homeostasis, where your body is trying to maintain the same from one day to the next. But over the days and months and years, you can actually change the pH of your body and your blood chemistry. You need to get back towards neutral. So you should take a detox. And I'm not going to promote particular. There's all different ways to detox your body, and some of them I think are totally bogus. And I'm not going to get into a lawsuit here, but you put your feet on these things and this stuff. That's as far as I'm going to go. We're not going to do that. But you can detox yourself naturally. I told last week, dogs know how to do this all the time naturally. No one's telling them to do it. They go out and they eat a certain grass and they get a cleanse and detox, and we need to do the same thing. So Jackie, I would like to ask you, because you and I work closely together, and you had a great deal of success in some of these things. And I'd like to ask you personally, what do you do about this? So you must listen to me. I mean, I hope you do, and that you think these things are appropriate. So what is your own program?
Thanks, Dr. Ahrens. And I want to firstly thank you, because your insight into the information that you've provided us with gives us an overall picture on what the problems are, in your opinion, and then also some solutions. I will just say, as a light humour to you, that us pregnant women, it's our God-given right to have you men jump around at will, even if we don't want that pickled ice cream. We just make you go and do it anyway, just for the sake of it, because we're pregnant after all. But anyway, look, on a serious note, yes, I do, Dr. Ahrens. We spoke about this before, and I've recently just done a detox and cleanse on my body. So I did a 6-day experience with the Detox tea. And Lorena has asked a question through here. Is it something you could take every day? I personally don't believe so. But, over a period of time for that 6 days, it was very beneficial because it cleaned the whole gut from top to bottom. And what I did find for myself personally, having a lot of health challenges that I'm combating on a daily basis, it actually, by cleaning my gut out from top to bottom, it desensitized things for me. Like I was able to support my body with the neural and the pain receptors, being able to cope on a daily basis better. I took 2 days off, and then I did a 6-day with a set regime that Tylene Luma had given me for the digestive enzymes. So I detoxed the colon or the gut, and then I supported the enzymes, and I provided more enzymes into my gut and to help me process food to see what that looked like. And it started on a lower dose of enzymes through to 16 a day, just for the 6 days. And I felt amazing. And then I had 4 days off, and I did a 6-day in regards to boosting my immune system, boosting my recovery to maximize what I had done with Emulin. And so I added up to, by the time I got to the 6 days, 16 a day, and then I gradually cut it back. I was on fire. So I had addressed what was going on in my gut health to basically totally cleanse my system. I then provided support to my gut and how it was processing food. And then I supported my immune system in recovery. So what I did notice, Dr. Ahrens, it was very evident to me that my pain receptors and neural receptors were supported. And I found that the assistance that I got from them, I was living life better, without making any claims here.
Well, I think probably something you mentioned there made me think we probably need to do a session on the biota of the gut. What's really going on in there? We always talk about, people talk about probiotics, prebiotics, and that sounds good, but they actually don't know what's going on. Really, those little organisms live inside your gut. They are what feeds you. We feed them the raw materials. They further break it down, and then they give us the better things. They produce vitamins for us, as an example. We do directly absorb the amino acids, the proteins, and the sugars, but all those other nutrients and vitamins are produced by these bacteria. And so it's very important that you feed them properly. And one of those things is when you detoxify, it helps their environment. But when you do cleanse out, and you might lose a lot of these things, and especially in this day and age, people, when you're taking antibiotics, we got this stuff going on, don't want to talk about it, but we got stuff happening in the world, and people get sick and they have all kinds of diseases, and then they take a lot of antibiotics just in case you kill all of your gut bacteria. They are the biotic that is against. And so then you need to be very important. You need to recharge your system. You need to get some pre and probiotics. Probiotic is the gut organism itself, and the pre is the food for them. And so we'll talk about it another time, but this is part of this recharge. So it's about a balance. And so you do cleanse yourself, you produce a good gut environment for not just you, but those organisms living inside yourself. You get rid of those toxins. And I think it would be a great thing once a month to detoxify yourself and then also cleanse yourself. And then you need to go for a probiotic in there to rebuild those good flora inside you. That would be a very good routine. Now, how often should you do that? Wow, I'm sorry, but it's true. I have to say, it's very personable. It's just about you. Some people, I'm going to say it. Some people have a bowel movement twice a day. Some people have a bowel movement every other day. Neither one of those are irregular. Everyone is different. They are the way your digestion works. Some are fast, some are slower, and I cannot make an across the board recommendation about what you should do for your own digestion and gut. I would say start out a month as a good start, and then spread it out or get it closer to see what your results are. It's not going to hurt you. You might do it too often. You might have a tummy ache or what, but start out with a month, and then I would do it less rather than more often. Go to the 2 months and see if that works for you. But you will notice a difference. Everything I tell you, people, is you'll notice a difference. It's not some pie in the sky thing here. This is real health. Just like I tell you, you need to start walking, even if it's only 100 steps in a week or two, you will notice a difference. That's my word on it, Decky.
Okay, Dr. Ahrens. So there's a couple of questions in here, and I think you probably answered this anyway. For Lorena, is that in regards to like the detox tea, taking it nightly for a long period in time, I think you've probably answered it, but what are your suggestions in taking that which is cleansing basically the whole gut? What would you suggest in regards to taking it over a long period of time? What would be your suggested basic overview on it?
I wouldn't do it long period, every day. No, I would do it like a week out of the month, or I might do it 1 every 3 days going forward. You eventually have to find out what is good for you, but no. I'll go against even all the commercial interest. Don't do it. Don't do it every day. Try it for a week, a month, or do it like once every 3rd days or 2 days and 3 days and get off for a week. Not every single day. We were not meant to do that.
Okay. Oh, Linda's getting some flowers. Wow. That's beautiful. Happy Valentine's Day. Dr. Ahrens, there's another question here. When we're talking about enzymes and it gives you really bad constant gas, what would cause that to happen, and what could they do to stop that from happening when we're adding enzymes into the diet?
Well, if I understand the question correctly, they take some enzymes, maybe it's this Valentis product, and then they get gas. Well, you're not getting gas. Those bacteria in you are getting gas, and that they particularly really like those enzymes, and they go to town, and they are fermenting carbohydrates, and they're producing a lot of CO2 and methane. They're the ones that are farting, not you. And you feel it like, oh, it's me. No. And I've just got to tell you that straight up that the microflora in your body do not like, they love those enzymes. That actually is what's happening. They love them, but you can't cope with having all that gas, and it could be stomach ache and unpleasant side effects. So let us back up a little bit then and do a detox. Let's start from beginning. Let's detox. Let's cleanse our gut. Let's take the right probiotics. Make sure you're on an even keel, and then try the enzymes and see the changes. And then it might be, oh, that's just fine now. On the other hand, let's be honest here. If it doesn't work for you, it's not going to work for you. Every one of us have a little bit different microorganisms in our body. Don't you know that some people can eat these spicy sausages and it doesn't bother them at all, and other people will just eat a wet noodle and it sends them over the edge? It's because of our interior. Everyone is a little different, and you have to find where it fits with you. And if those enzymes don't work for you, even after you have got a good balance, you did a cleanse, you have gotten rid of toxins, you've got probiotics, you're on an even keel, you take some of those enzymes and it don't work, it's not for you. It's just straight up.
Well, I'm actually really relieved with what you've just told us there, Dr. Ahrens, because it means that I can blame the enzymes and not the dog. So I've got one more question for you. So I know it's terrible. I've got a bad sense of humor from Australia. I'm so sorry. One more question. So will this detox work for iron overload from blood transfusions, currently not on chemo?
Yeah, so you can have an iron buildup, and yes, it will, because that's actually one of the issues. And it's not just because of chemo or blood transfusion. You can get overloaded with iron for many different reasons. That actually, certain fish that you eat could have too much iron in it, and other people eat too many things like liver, they get an iron overload. You know, my grandfather, he didn't even know what he was talking about, but he still had the concept. And every spring, he would take these old-fashioned iron nails. Now we're talking about 1920 or 30, you know, and put them in some water and let them rust until the water was orange, and he would drink that. He thought he wasn't detoxifying himself, he was toxifying himself. And then he'd have to end up going to the doctor because he had an iron overload. So, you know, some of these tales don't add up. But yeah, you can get a problem like that anytime. So yes, you can absolutely, that will work for something like this. That's an accelerated example of having too much iron, but we can all end up with too much iron. Now, of course, most females don't have enough iron. We find out also men don't either, because they don't eat enough red meat. Sorry, that's how it happens. And you lose iron and you gain iron, and it's got to have a balance. So you can have too much iron in your body, or I could say magnesium, cobalt, anything. And so therefore, if you'll detox, these things the way it works. So how does a detox, what's it different than a clean? I probably should have said that. A detox works on the electrical charge on these atoms. So iron is heavily positively charged. It's Fe+++. It's a really supercharged positive molecule. And so these detox clean them out like a magnet. It's a charged situation. And most of all these things like manganese, they're all charged atoms. That's how the detox works. It's not like a vacuum cleaner that you could think, but it's actually more like a magnet that sucks all these things out of the cells and gets rid of them. And iron is heavily positively, it's one of the very easiest ones to get rid of.
Okay, Dr. Ahrens, so to cap this all off, there's been a little question in there, but I think we can probably tie this all in together, that if I'm correct in my thinking, and I hope that I am, I've been taking notes, as I know many of you have, that resetting your body with detoxing and cleansing, that it is a really beneficial. You don't have to, but it's beneficial to look at cleansing your body with a detox with one of the products suggested. Not that we're talking to drive you into product sales here, which then potentially, prior to using enzymes, is going to alleviate the problem of blaming the dog, because it's the enzymes where you're going to get the gas from. So if you're taking enzymes and you're getting gas, which is one of the questions in here, that essentially would be one of the reasons why. And obviously, then we're looking at amylin to top it up, to be able, those flavonoids, I should say, to be able to support your immune system, your recovery process, that it's an overall approach, that you're not doing it on a regular basis in large quantities, but it's worthwhile looking at doing it on a monthly basis if that's what your body needs. You may only need it every second month. As Dr. Ahrens said, everybody is different. But it's trial and error. It's like, you know, how much air do you put in the car to make it, you know, run smoothly on the road? You adjust it if you're going into the snow, you adjust it if you're going into mountain climbing. Your body's the same. You adjust what the needs are as to what it's telling you. So Dr. Ahrens, I want to thank you so much. For those that are on this call today, we really, truly appreciate you for turning up and showing up and supporting Dr. Ahrens each week. And for those that watch the call afterwards, thank you so much as well. And is there anything you'd like to cap today's call off with, Dr. Ahrens?
Well, it all gets back to diet always. If we had a perfect diet, you wouldn't need to listen to me or anybody else. But in this modern world, I'm sorry, we are, even when, and our knowledge is limited, we do the best we can, but we still are not where we should be. And that's the reason you need to do things such as a detox and a cleansing. And it's why you need insulin too, because we just don't get enough of that in our bodies. You just can't get enough. If you could, everything would be fine. And, you know, your body really does know how to take care of itself. Listen to it, work with it. Everyone's a little different. And I'll see you guys next week.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Ahrens, and thank you each and every one of you so much. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody, for when that arrives to you, and we shall see you next week. So thank you.